Hey guys, just a quick video. I've been going through my collection, just trying to organize it and get myself in order. And I was surprised that there were still several palettes and several items in my collection that really needed to just go, because I'm no longer using them. They're no longer something that is calling me, and I just don't think they need to be a part of my collection. Now, and if any of these products that I mentioned happen to be your favorite, I'm sorry. I don't mean to hurt your feelings or in any way insult your products. It's just that they're not working for me. I happen to have really kind of honed in on what I like in the last year, and I tend to like a lot of things, but these just don't seem to check all the boxes that I need them to. So without chit-chatting anymore, I want to just jump right in and talk to you guys. I think initially I wanted to do like a 5 palettes or 5 items that are leaving my collection in the month of January, and I'd like to do that like maybe every month, like find 5 things and figure out whether or not they need to stay or they need to go. But in either case, these are the 5 that are going to be leaving in the month of January. Now 5 is a very loose number because I had several other things that worked themselves into this little declutter, but I thought you wouldn't mind, and I thought you wouldn't mind hearing the reason why I'm no longer interested or being drawn in by these products. So let's jump right in and talk about what's leaving my collection. The first product that I'm going to be releasing releasing or rehoming or allowing it another life is this palette by It Cosmetics. It's the Naturally Pretty palette. And I got this palette, I don't know, like 6 years ago, and this is what it looks like inside. And to be very honest, even when I bought this palette, I really had a hard time making it work. But because it was one of my first high-end product purchases, I had a really hard time letting it go. But I always had a problem with these shadows, and that's probably one of the reasons why I've never really bought any more It Cosmetics shadows, because anytime I would apply make a look on my eye with these, they would get muddied up. I mean, seriously, there's some really nice shadows in here, and I'll go ahead and give you some swatches, but it's when I apply them together that I have a problem. Now, this palette is all matte shadows, but with the exception of this one right here, which is more of like, let's say, a shimmer strip, and they call it like a transformative strip. And you could apply it on top of any of the other shadows and it would give you a bit of a shimmer. What I found when I would do that is it would lift off the matte that was underneath. So the truth is that I've never really enjoyed this palette. I kind of kept it because it was the first one I had ever bought that was high-end, but it's just not filling any real need in my collection, and I think it's really time for me to say adios. So yeah, that's why this is going bye-bye. I think it could really work for somebody who maybe just used like a one color and done like a wash of color all over their lid and into their crease, and it would probably work that way, but that's not how I enjoy doing my eye makeup, so that's why this is something that is not very useful in my collection. Another thing that I'm going to let go, and that I've had now I think like for 4 years, maybe 3 years, and it never really worked for me, and I kept it because it was I think it was my second high-end blush palette purchase. The first one I got was from Tarte Cosmetics, and it was like in the cuff, and it brought like this cuff bracelet. It was like a 5-pan, which I love and I still have to this day, and I use. It's part of their Amazonian clay, and I absolutely love it. But the second one I got was this one. It was the Real Cheeky Party by Benefit. And this was such a disappointment, guys. Honestly, I still have this on it, and I just recently took out the mascara and the eyeliner that were in it because I figured I could at least get some use out of it. But to be very, very honest, these were the most chalky and dusty, and they don't look anything. They were so hard pressed that they were hard to even get up. I mean, there you go right there. But then when you apply them, they're very chalky, and they're nothing like the real Benefit blush and Hoola bronzers. They're not. I happen to own the Hoola bronzer, and I own an individual one of Coralista and also California, and to be very honest, these were not anywhere near that kind of quality. I kept it because, again, it was like something that I invested my money in, and daggone it, I was going to get some use out of it. But the truth is it does not bring me any joy. It's actually quite bulky and it occupies a lot of space in my beauty room, and I really I don't even think this is something I could give to someone because the actual quality of the product is not good. So yeah, that is leaving my collection. Now, something that's already left my collection that I gave it to someone and I thought it was a good product, but when I brought it in and I played with it, I came to a realization that I just really don't care for these products. And it would be, again, Benefit, the Cheek Leaders Pink Squad palette. Now, I got this this year, and my sweet little niece came to visit me, and I gifted it to her because I think it is a nice palette. So it was good for me to give to someone else to use. But I came to the realization that I just don't really care for me for Benefit's blush formulas. I know that they're very popular and that a lot of people like them, but they're just not my preference. Now, this particular palette had the color California, which of the Benefit blushes, that's the one I like the most, and I have a regular one of that. It came with the highlight Tickle. It had Hula, the bronzer, Dallas, and Dandelion. I didn't really care for Dallas. I have Hula, I have California, and Dandelion to me is an okay blush. It's not the bad blush, it's not a great blush, it's an okay blush. So I was really happy to gift it to my niece, and I know that she's going to use the crap out of it because she doesn't have any others. And to her, it's a beautiful blush palette, and she will love it and cherish it, and it just won't sit in a collection because to me, I have others that I will pull for before I would ever reach for these. What this taught me is I am not going to ever buy any other Benefit blushes because they're just not what I enjoy in a blush formula. Now, let's jump away a little bit from palettes because I have 3 more that I'm going to talk about, but I want to talk about these sponges. These sponges actually came from Sephora. They are the hardest, stiffest, densest sponges I have ever bought. I mean dollar store sponges are better than these. TJ Maxx sponges are better than these. I mean, they're just so hard. And I bought them from Sephora. I bought them several years ago, and when I got them, I was like, when I first started actually using sponges, and I was like, what is this? And I didn't like it, so I just moved on and went to use brushes. And then I had a beauty blender, and I was like, no, I know I like beauty blenders. These don't feel like a beauty blender. And then I found these by Shop Miss A. This is the Paw Paw sponge, and I know it's not the cleanest right now, but I love the Shop Miss A's Paw Paw sponges. And these from Sephora, I don't know if they're still selling them, but if they are and you see them, do not buy them. They are trash. Instead, order from Shop Miss A. They're $1.55 and they are beautiful. Make sure you get the light pink ones because I found that the darker pink ones are a bit denser and the black ones are as well. I like these light pink ones. But yeah, honestly, I would never spend money on this again. I would just go ahead and buy these. Another palette that's going to leave my collection, and this might be one that people might be shocked about, but I got this a couple of years ago for my birthday, and this one is Kat Von D's Shade and Light, and it's in the matte. And guys, honestly, I tried so hard to like this palette. I actually think I might have fed into the hype about this palette, and then I got to use more eyeshadows, and I came to know that there are formulas out there that are a lot less expensive that work better for me. As a matter of fact, I have her regular Shade and Light contour palette, and I use that as an eyeshadow palette all the time because I think that that formula is so beautiful and smooth in comparison to some of these eyeshadows. So I am ready to say goodbye to this. I don't have a real need for it because I just don't like the colors on me. They all tend to blend together and again get very muddied up. And honestly, I mean, you would think that this would be something that I would be using all the time. But to be very honest, I never pull for this. It's just sitting there occupying space when I'd much rather use the Shade and Light face palette as an eye palette. So yeah, this is going bye-bye. And then another one that I'm actually going to let go and that I'm quite happy to let it go. This was a free gift from Ulta for a birthday. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. And let me just show you, it is brand new. I have never used it. The little plastic has never even come off of it. And so what I've decided to do is go ahead and rehome this, give this to someone that I know that may actually enjoy all these colors and may actually get some use out of this, because the truth is it's just sitting in my collection and it just isn't something that attracts me. I have so many palettes that I absolutely love and that I'm using that it just seems a shame to keep this around and not give it its fair amount of love. So yeah, this is going bye-bye. I think that somebody else I know will absolutely love this so much more than me. Now, another product that's going to say bye-bye that I'm kind of shocked that I'm letting go is this lip liner by Flower Beauty in the color Rose. When I bought this, I thought it would be in a beautiful rose tone. Well, the thing is, it's almost like a very bright, bright pink. And you guys will see it right there. To me, that's not very rosy. I would have thought it had a little bit more mauve. I would have, or nudie tone to it. I would have kept it. But this is not the same color that this pencil is. I don't think it looks like it in person. Maybe on camera it does, but in person, this seems to be a little bit more nude in tone. And so when I apply this on my lips, I find that I almost look a little bit like a clown. I don't know. I don't enjoy this color as a lip liner. So I think that it's one of those products that I'll be happy to give to someone. They can break the little tip off and use it because the actual formula is good. It's just that this particular lip liner on me is not something that I find enjoyable to wear. But so I wanted to talk about another palette that is leaving my collection and that you guys might be surprised. But I got some explaining to do with this one. And it's the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. And it's this one. Guys, I love this palette. And I can already tell you that I've repurchased it and I already have it in my collection because I had an accident happen with this palette. It fell from my vanity to the floor and it shattered, like all the top shadows shattered. And I had several others that shattered and it was a big mess. I cleaned it up as best as I could, but I found myself not being drawn to it because I was missing all like my blending shades and all of my, that whole top row in here, I was missing those colors. So I really had a lot of color and not any of the blending and crease colors. And so what ended up happening was for Christmas, they had these at Ulta and I had an Ulta card and there was like 20% off. They did a bunch of 20% off in during the holiday time at Ulta. And what I ended up doing was I picked up a new one. Now this is the old one where you just got the card and I taped it up there to make sure I had it. So this was the original one I got. And I bought this like 2 years ago and it was very loved. I mean, we used it a lot. I didn't hit pan on anything, but the sad part was that the ones that were more used, because they were thinner in the pan, those are the ones that all cracked when it fell. So I kind of took them all out of the actual palette hole in an effort to try to clean this up. But I didn't find myself gravitating towards it and using it. So I've already gone ahead and repurchased it. It's already in my collection. But this one's saying bye-bye because I just really have no need for something that in this kind of a condition in my collection. If I'm going to use this, I'm going to pull it out and use it all. So yeah, as much as I love it, I really don't want it like it is right now. So unfortunately, I'm going to be discarding it because I just don't feel comfortable giving it to anyone looking like it does right now. But it is a very nice palette and I really did enjoy it. And I enjoyed it so much that I actually picked up two. So yeah, I'm having to say goodbye to my original Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. Now it is old enough where I felt comfortable buying a new one and including it in my current collection. And so I'll have it now for several years to come because you guys know that sometimes these eyeshadows and things, they get a little bit, I don't know, dry and so they stop working as well. In my case, the ones that all broke were the ones that were thinner within the palette because I'd given them a little bit more love. And then lastly, this is a product that I'm going to put on, for lack of a better word, a chopping block. I'm going to make myself use this palette at least 3 times in the month of February. Now, I like the Wants palette because it has a lot of different colors in it, and I find myself a little bit more attracted to that palette. However, the Emily's The Needs palette, I barely ever use it. Now, it is in the color story that I tend to like, but I have a really hard time because I don't like the way Joy looks on me. I don't know why, but when I apply that, it comes off almost looking dirty on me as a blusher. And then in the eyeshadows, I don't know why I'm not using this palette any more than I am at this point. So that's why it's on the chopping block. If I don't find myself using it at least 3 times in the month of February and being able to tell you all exactly why I'm not using it, then I'm just going to find it a new home because I'm sure that there's somebody out there in my life that may enjoy it a lot more than I am and may actually be able to get several complete looks and be quite satisfied with using the Emily's The Needs palette. Now, the Wants palette, palette, that's staying because I actually do enjoy that palette quite a bit. Now, I'm not using it on a daily basis or anything like that. I've got too many palettes for that. But this is one of those that for some reason I just don't find myself gravitating towards it and using it. I really don't. So yeah, guys, those are some of the things that are being decluttered, that are being rehomed, or that are on a chopping block for me to decide whether or not they remain in my collection. So guys, that's the end of my video. I hope you found it enjoyable. I hope that you will come back and visit me. And if you haven't yet, please take a second and hit the subscribe button. I love you to be part of my YouTube family. And thank you for taking a few minutes of your day to spend with me. I hope you guys have a great day and y'all be blessed. Bye!